on a Radio Gegeman that is in Nimba County, Radio Kwatika in Bonk, and of course on Radio Wurugisi in Lofa County. Witness FM in Monrovia is also relaying this program. Besides, we are also streaming live on our Facebook page, that is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. So if you want to catch us, just make sure that on your phone, where they have the search, you tap Nighttime Heat, and then you follow the show and also share the show. Besides, we are also streaming live on our YouTube channel. I'm sure on your phone or your laptop, you have the YouTube there. So just what to do, the three words again, tap Nighttime Heat, and then you follow the show. You subscribe on the YouTube channel, you hit the notification bell, and of course, you are live on the program. We want to share tonight program. We want you to share the program so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow on what's happening tonight. In addition, we also streaming live on Prime FM, Moravia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Moravia 105.5. Well, tonight we'll be looking at the July 17th protest. We'll be doing a post-analysis. Was the protest successful or was it a flop? We'll be looking at that with our guests, and of course, our guests will include Montreal County Representative Smo Koli Molba. Let me get it right. The CRC of the Economic Freedom Fighters. The man is Emmanuel Gonkwe. We also have Mr. Wanto Tia Wanto. Wanto will be on the program. Mr. Oliver Wisa Simeon. He's a Liberian educator in the UAE. He's based there, and also a former member of the House of Representatives, David Cody. They'll be right here, and of course, we'll be trying to analyze the protest, looking at the start, whether it gained the momentum, looking at its success, looking at the size of the crowd, looking at the message, looking at the messenger. So a lot we have to discuss tonight. My panelist, Moses Sandy, he just said to me, you join us a little late, but we just received in studio George Kennedy, one of our panelists. George, welcome to the program.
Good evening, Saba, and good evening to everyone. Thank you for welcoming me.
I know.
We're here again to do the people's job.
Yeah, yes, that's our role. That's the responsibility we've taken up, to do what we're supposed to do. So we wanted to share the show. If you are listening, if you are viewing, please share the show because tonight will be very, very interesting. It promises to be intellectually rewarding. We'll be looking at the July 17th protest that took place yesterday. Some top-notch politicians have begun reacting to the protest. We saw the read-up by Bapuru County Senator Amra Corner. We saw the reaction from former President George Weah. We're hoping to read that for you. And so this program tonight, this weekend edition, it promises to be very, very interesting. This is the program that brings all sides together, all the non-position, the opposition, the imposition. We bring all of them together because, this is our country. We all need to work together, talk together, talk not together though, but one after another, bring all the ideas together to move Liberia forward. And that's the mission of this program. We espouse the interests of our dear country, Liberia. So we'll be right back after the same. Don't go away. Saba George is my name.
Let's start.
Okay, so we are starting now. It's about 7 minutes after 8 o'clock. So we'll have a lot to talk about. And of course, today we heard that the president, His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boyka did what? He vetoed. You heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to read whatever we have that the president vetoed. So my apologies, and I can talk about this one quickly. Let's try to read what we have. I'm sure you are listening. You are also viewing. Please share the show. We want you to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can all be on top of what is happening tonight. President Joseph Yuma Boyka, by official communication dated July 15, 2025, addressed to Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, President pro tempore of the Liberian Senate, vetoed two Senate enrolled bills related to maritime and port sector reform. Senate enrolled bill number 4 has to do with the Liberia Ports Authority Act, and Senate enrolled bill number 5 has to do with the Liberia Sea and Inland Ports Decentralization and Modernization Act. Okay, purpose of the bills. The two interrelated bills aimed to dissolve the National Port Authority and decentralize port operations in Liberia by establishing autonomous management for the 4 main ports: Monrovia, Buchanan, Greenville, and Harper, creating a new regulatory agency, Liberia Sea and Inland Ports Regulatory Authority, advancing the government's decentralization agenda and fostering local responsiveness. Reasons for the veto. I read that. Structural and NIMI inconsistencies. Under that, the schedule and attestation of the bill labeled Liberia Ports Authority actually reference the Sea and Inland Ports Regulatory Act, indicating a major structural mismatch between the bill's title and contents. Number 2, substantive legal conflicts. Overlapping authority. Multiple provisions in the new regulatory bill conflict with the existing mandates of the Liberia Maritime Authority, the LMA, and the Maritime Law of Liberia. Risks of redundancy. If enacted, those two bills, if enacted, the new agency would significantly diminish the role of the LIME, potentially reducing it to ship registration only, which is already privatized via LISCA. Regulatory overreach. The proposed agency would be empowered to regulate port safety, tariffs, infrastructure development, and maritime law enforcement, consolidating excessive power within a single body and violating principles of regulatory independence. Amendment confusion. Section 409 attempts to strip the LMA of its core functions without clear legal transition or stakeholder input. Implementation challenges. Lack of transition planning, inadequate stakeholder engagement, and the potential for governance disruption, confusion, and non-compliance with Liberia's international maritime obligations. Decentralization Act concerns. The Decentralization Act is inseparable from the regulatory bill. The autonomous ports need a regulator to function legally. Structural flaws were identified, including inconsistent table of contents, ambiguous definitions, especially regarding the statutes of the existing MPA Act, an excessively large board for each port, 9 members, raising concerns of efficiency and costs. Constitutional basis. President Boyka exercised his veto power under Article 35 of the Liberian Constitution, which empowers the president to disapprove legislature and return it to the legislature for reconsideration. Conclusion and recommendation. President Boyka emphasized his support for the decentralization, and the intent behind the legislation, but urged the legislature to correct structural and legal inconsistencies. He returned the bills for further review and refinement, citing the national interest and institutional coherence as guiding principles. So you listen to what I read. What's your take? Let's hear from you.
Well, it's not strange. It's not strange that the president vetoed this bill. I call it the devil's bill.
You call it the devil's bill?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because this bill is considered one that does not have. It didn't come about because of a good intent. It came about because of a fight of different political differences between some certain people in government, and so you wanted to gather certain people. So you couldn't even study well. They didn't even go doing backgrounds of those violations, even including the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, Article 35. Look, let's be frank. The Constitution says any law contrary is not involved. So from the day they passed that bill, I knew that the president would not have signed it.
Who are the proponents so far that you know about?
The head of the port in Buchanan, the port director, former Senator Kapi, the protent of the Senate, the protent of the Senate.
Yumbley?
Yeah, Yumbley.
Is Yumbley behind this bill?
Yeah, sure. Now and then you can call here at 89. I mean, so when they
is Dallas Dillon also behind this bill?
Sure, he's
Nukwe as well.
Well, I didn't follow Senator Nukwe, but I thought the general idea they try to sell to the public is autonomy for each port, which is good. But the document itself, very bad. Very bad. They should have just taken their own time. I, as the Ghana Maritime Authority or Port Authority, I sent for that copy. What all they did? Then you try to do some research and see. But you just went and rush with something. Look, I'm not the spokesperson for the Port Authority for the National Port Authority. But I can surely tell you, frankly, that all of the operational expenses of the ports of Buchanan, Greenville, and Harper, the free port maneuver are almost taking care of around 90%, 85 to 90% of the operation costs.
The ports in Monrovia.
The ports of Monrovia. Yeah. So while it is true that the intent is good, that those ports will be able to independently source the private investors, foreign, to develop them, but it was bad that they didn't even. I think the president spoke about the issue of redundancy. They didn't even look at all of those things. Do you know what problem you are going to put those ports in with the rush of this thing, without talking with real stakeholders? I'm not a spokesperson. I decided really I didn't want to speak to the port issue, but sometimes when certain issue come, you have to talk about it. The rush to do this, to get the port director of Buchanan opening a fight with his boss, the managing director of Freeport McMoRan, on taking on the airwave, going publicly discussing administrative issues that should not be discussed because of this bill. I thought I was saying something that,
like you said, it's a good idea, that we're trying to push for the the autonomous status of the other 4 ports. Yes. But what were you saying they were in the rush, that they could not, maybe get some other ideas from across, other part of the spectrum of the society, rather, to just write what they wrote, and at the end of the day, the president has vetoed it.
Yes, they might, as I said from the initial stage, probably they were fighting the current
port management.
Okay. In Monrovia. Probably. Because even to consult within a difficult thing, I didn't see anything like that. I mean, the MD probably is intern or the deputy. I know they can call to clarify what I'm saying, or to speak to, or the PR people from the port can call to speak to this issue. But I thought, the general idea is good, but without doing, detailed
due diligence,
consultations and other things, talking with stakeholders. They didn't do that. They talked about putting some papers together. President Boakai was just going to run through it because of whatever public sector relationship, but the president is dedicated to Liberian people.
Now, were they sort of, I don't know what Moses on now, but Moses said you'll come a bit later. Now, what is sort of veto? I think that's the first major decision that the president had taken, besides the issue of suspending people for corruption. Yeah. But this is a major decision, especially knowing some of your people involved, with this whole documentation, this whole act, and vetoing it. You think that's going to spark some internal rankling within the ranks of the government?
No, in fact, what this does is it tells the Liberian people, endorse the crafters of this bill, that the president is really watching. Is looking everywhere. Every document that go before he reads them and before he acts on it. So it's not because of individual relationship. It's based on his commitment to the country. That's what I'm seeing here. This land veto that he did, really, he did, and then cited whoever that advised him, lawyers or whatsoever. I think they were really on top of their game. Go and redo the bill. Do it properly. We want. If you say you want a separate, a port authority, each of the port autonomy for each of the port, very good. But I don't know. You seen the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority. You got the LEC that is said, and you got a regulatory authority. You can see that every month you recharge, you pay certain fees. So this could be the same thing that could be maybe applied to the next authority that they're talking about to supervise the entire port. You understand? Why those ports are go autonomy. So at the end of the day, revenues raised from those ports, probably they will say 5% of your revenue will go to the running of that entity, 10% to that entity from the other port. So I think it's another stretching of revenue, in my view. I don't know.
Because setting up another body
is big government, expanding the government when you don't have strong.
You have to staffing and
staffing,
office space and all of that.
Yeah. So those are some of the things I was looking at. Liberia, we're running a cash-based budget. So we'll be looking for places to spend money to create entities. When in fact, you see you're suffering from cash crunch and other things. So we should all look at this thing from a holistic point of view.
Now let's look at this aspect of the bill again that I read, or the act that I read. Substantive legal conflicts, overlapping authority, multiple provisions in the new regulatory bill conflict with the existing mandate of the Liberia Maritime Authority and the maritime law of Liberia. Can you imagine that?
Just imagine. You didn't even see the maritime law. You didn't care to see the function. What role does the Liberia Maritime Authority play? What about LISCA that managing our flagship?
Yeah.
What about LISCA? You didn't even care to look at those things. This clearly speaks. I have never spoken to this thing before, but let me really express it today. It speaks that what I say, the devil's bill. Because if you rush in to get at something and you don't really prepare yourself, these are the kind of embarrassment you get. It's embarrassing.
Were they intending to get at the port management? Do they have some beef with the manager of the port the management team?
It is an open secret that the port manager of Buchanan has been very vocal on the radio against the central.
Yeah, we did empower him to do that.
Yeah, so by right or not our policy, he's not to do. But frankly, I mean, sometimes, in my opinion, it's not. I'm not speaking for the port authority. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, these are some of the things that sometimes political marriages can bring to bear.
Yeah, sure.
If I'm assigned Buchanan as a Buchanan port manager, I speak through the National Port Authority Public Relations System office. I don't just go before going to a radio station. The managing director has to give me the go ahead, and he needs to see my talking points. He needs to authorize them. And, because
it's still funded by the National Port Authority.
Yeah, it's under the same entity. Yeah. But if you just go on your own, you are busting. You are not getting support from the central, management. This and that. Look, I don't want to go into the detail of NPA issues, but really, I thought it was one of the worst administrative blunders, and they followed by this bill. And this bill, you see, expose them. Let them read the president's veto, and let them see why. Sometimes when you are angry, it's not good to take decision.
Yeah.
When you are angry, you relax yourself, you rest. I mean, God going to speak to you, He's going to give you the direction. But the entire intent of port autonomy for each of the port, for me, as I say, I support it.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. It's a good idea because all we do is it will support or promote a speedy development of those ports, in my view. Okay, but to rush like this, to rush into crashing yourself like this, I thought that it was not strange.
Let me read the recommendation and then quickly the conclusion, the recommendation of the president before you veto the bill. Then we can just open the lines to hear from a few callers quickly. Conclusion and recommendation. President Boyka emphasized his support for the decentralization and the intent behind the legislation, but urged the legislature to correct structural and legal inconsistencies. He returned the bill for further review and refinement, citing the national interest and institutional coherence as guiding principles.
Imagine.
Let's try to hear from a few callers quickly before our guests can come in. Just few callers, 0778-460-793. What do you make of the vetoing of the acts that were being pushed by a few senators who thought that there's a need for autonomy and positions of the four ports, but they didn't do it well. At the end of the day, the president had vetoed it. I think this is the first major decision taken by the president to look at the bills and considering those who are pushing the bills, whose interests are involved, and then to veto it. And that's the reason I asked the question: wouldn't this, spark any sort of internal rancor?
No.
Within the ranks of the government. Let's take the first call on the line quickly. Let's take this call on the line quickly. Okay, the caller is gone. 0778 460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Just a few calls quickly before we join our guests.
So, suppose legislatively, had the president not signed that bill, vetoed that bill to the line veto, it stay on the 21 days. After 21 days, that bill becomes law. So the president had to act.
Wow.
He couldn't stay on his bill on his desk until after 21 working days. Under the constitutional bill, that bill becomes law. So he had to act on it and return. And in order to overturn the veto, it need 2/3 each flow to do. So that bill could perpetually die in committee room.
0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better still, 0886-540-987. Again, 0886-540-987 or 0778-460-793. We are talking about the bill that was vetoed by His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boyka. Can you imagine that? Pushing back on some of our people who are said to be behind this bill, who are pushing for autonomy, position, or status of all the 4 ports, but again, they didn't do well. The president has cited some structural and legal inconsistencies, and the president said he's vetoing the vote, the bill, and he did veto it today. 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. Let's try to take a few calls quickly before we can get into our discussion for our guests can come in. Again, 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. That's the number to call, or better still, the Lone Star line, 0886 540 987. Again, 0886 540 987. What do you make of the president's decision today to veto the act seeking autonomy status for the 4 ports? But the president said, well, it was not done well, and had some legal and structural inconsistencies. So he supports the idea, but he said the legislators or those behind this bill who have to do well. The president had vetoed. Can you imagine that? 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. I wonder, how did the proponents, the crafters of this bill, how did they feel when they heard that the president had vetoed it?
I feel that after putting the bill on the floor, even after the vote was taken, I feel that probably they saw their own errors. People started talking with them. Some people who have seen the bill started questioning them. Oh, why did you do this? So I know they may go and correct it, as the president did, and then brought it back. But if they stay like this, I don't think they can get to turn on any of the floor to pass this, because it would be considered not involved. They violates Article 35 and several other provisions of other laws. They say any law to the contrary is not involved.
Okay, so let's take this call on the line quickly. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. Oh, I'm not getting you. Good evening. Yeah, it seems that. Hello. Okay, let me take you from this line. How you doing? Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Let me try other line.
Okay, try the other line quickly, and then you come in. 0778 460 793. We take 5 minutes to look at this before our guests can come in. 0778 460 793, or better still, 0886 540 987. Again, 0886 540 987, or 0778 460 793. That's the number to call, and you are live on the nighttime heat tonight. Good evening.
David Kuti. I think I got you on this line now. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't see what I can add more than what Mr. Kennedy has mentioned. Everything he says is correct. This country has some serious problems. Most people get to power mainly for riches. I mean, not to really serve. Like I said one time, most people go to college in this country to get a degree only for a government job. And the main reason for that is to steal. I'm not accusing anybody who was part of this bill for steal. I'm just giving some example. Everything Mr. Joyce said is true. I mean, Kennedy said it's true. You can't do that to your own government. And some people think because they supported this government as a party, they can do anything and just flow. The president will say, oh, they support. He's not after a second term. No. He's not after a second term for anybody to try and threaten him and think they can just do anything and pass. Look, if Barker was sleeping before, his one eye is open. This is why people are going to jail. People are being arrested. People are declaring access now. Roads are being constructed. A lot of good. So if you think he's still sleeping with the 2 eyes, no. One is still open. And by the end of this, the 6 years, the 2 eyes will be open. Clearly.
Okay.
So, Mr. Kennedy, thank you. Nothing else to add to what you say. You're right, 100%.
Thank you, Honorable Koti.
So you agree that the bill is a devil bill? Okay, you go off 0778-460-793. That's the number to call. Again, 0778-460-793. Better still, 0886-540-987. Again, 0886-540-987. That's the number to call. Again, just for we got 2 minutes left. So as to join our guests to come in and then we have our discussion. We thought that was quite necessary to talk about the president vetoing of this bill, the act. It's troubling. I know, Kennedy. Again, the question is, I know it will not sing down well for those crafters of the bill, especially some higher ups in the Senate.
No, the legislature, in line with the Constitution, and acted in line with the Constitution. Likewise, the president, the head of the executive branch, acted in line with the Constitution. So they have one power now. That is, they must get 2/3 of each house to override the president's veto in order for that bill to become law. If they don't have 2/3 of each house to override the veto, then of course they will have to go by and redo the bill. I'm even told that the House, I think, closed today or maybe early next week, whatsoever it is, and for break. So as I said, it's going to be perpetual in our place. A lot of things will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try to take a break and then we'll be right back quickly. Let's take a break. And then we'll be right back.
Let's
Okay, welcome back to the program, Nighttime Heat. Our guests are joining us gradually. They are coming on. We're hoping that they all can come on quickly, so that we can have the discussion. Um, Again, I'm sure Moses will soon be on. We have a couple of videos to play. Yesterday, I'm sure you might have listened to the protests that took place. In fact, headed by a stand of Morba Molu. They were all in the streets yesterday trying to call the government's attention to a couple of concerns that they do have. So I will be looking at doing a post analysis of the July 17th yesterday's protest. Did it yield the desired results or was it a flop? We'll be talking about that, hearing from our guests, hearing from our panelists as well, as to what do they think about the protest, whether it did yield the desired results or it didn't at all. So we'll have a few of our guests that are online. George, yes, welcome them quickly.
Yes, Honorable Kuti, you are welcome. And that's Mr. Tapping. What's his name again? Mr. Wizard. I'm sorry about missing your name. You are welcome, sir. This is the Nighttime Heat. If you don't have air condition, please try to pull on one because this place is going to be hot. Welcome to everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So is Dave on also? Okay. Do we have Oliver on as well? 1-2 is on. Okay, it's about to join us quickly. We're hoping that all of them can join us so that we can start the discussion. But in the meantime, let's try to play the video live from Capitol Hill when the protesters were at Capitol Hill. Let's try to play that video quickly.
Again, a live
Let me tell you about the story of my life. My father was a cardinal. My father was a cardinal. That's why I'm a freedom fighter. He's so full of.
Okay. That's a recording and videos there of some of the protesters yesterday who were at Capitol Hill. We'll be talking about the protests, looking at the start of the protest, how they go for our people, what they did understand the start of the protest, and to also be looking at the size of the protest as well. We'll look at the size of the protest as well, and also we'll be looking at some of the messages in the messenger as well. Okay, so we'll be looking at all of that tonight. And so let's begin with our guests. Mr. David Kuti, welcome to the program. Mr. Oliver Wisa Sunion, you are based in the UAE. but I know you followed yesterday. We still are waiting other journalists to form part of the discussion. This evening. So let's hear from you, Mr. Cody, first, and then the rest of the other guests. What do you think? What's your analysis of the start of the process, of the start of the protest? What did you see when the protest started? Momentum or not? Mr. David Kuti.
Well, thank you again for this invitation. I always love to be on your program. It's a very good program. I didn't see anything much yesterday that would make me to think that something serious happened. Nothing I saw yesterday. In the first place, I think this protest, looking at the protest of the leader of the protest, Molba Molu, I think this protest was guided by external influence. This is what I mean. Molba Molu is not a trusted person. You know, this is how some people make their living. Some people make their living by living on problems.
We'll talk, Mr. Koti, we'll talk about the messenger. We'll talk about the message. First, we want to hear from you from the start of the road protest. Did you see momentum? Did you see people springing up from all the various communities joining the protest? Or did you see that people, did the approach with a lukewarm approach? Let's hear from you.
Well, I saw some Zogos coming from corners, joining this thing. They got nothing to do. They didn't even know why they were there. First, I can give you one example. Called the Bourgeois Radio in Open Town, the radio station owned by this representative. Called them and give you a tip. There was a guy to interview. The man said, the journalist asked him, why are you here? Why are you here? Why? I used to sell my drops early time. I used to sell my beer time. Wakaki stopped the whole thing. Out of business. Can you imagine that? It means that some people just what momentum? Where?
So it didn't have momentum at all, according to you.
No, it happens every time. You will see people coming just joining because they don't have anything to do.
Okay, let's hold you there and hear from Oliver. Mr. Oliver Wisa-Senior. I'm sure you might have followed the protest from the start up to the end, or maybe to some point. Did they have the momentum that that was highly expected, or the people show lukewarm approach that the people couldn't show up for the protest? Did they have the momentum from the start?
So first, let me say thank you for the invite again, and say thanks to fellow panelists and to those listening to us in Radio Land. Coming to your question, from the beginning of the protest, I noticed that there was no momentum, honestly. It looks like Molba Molu and his team were trying to wait for a push from the CDC that we saw later on. But STEN, as an organization, or as the main body that organized this protest, I didn't see any momentum from them or from Liberians trying to join this protest. You could see that from the beginning, the streets were all empty. I mean, you could see people moving from one place to another, doing their normal things. You could see cars moving freely. There was no sign of any protests. But then others also claimed it was because of the heavy downpour of rain. And that is why we couldn't see them coming. But later on in the day, especially when the group came from the CDC compound, and then the protest started to gain some relevance. But from the beginning, no, there was no momentum at all.
Okay. Let's hear from Mr. Wanto, Tia Wanto. Let's hear from you, Mr. Wanto. What did you observe? Was there momentum from the start of the protest, or they, people who the lead protesters, expected to have joined, they did approach it with a lukewarm approach.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir, we are hearing you.
Great. So the question in itself is very subjective, and the reason why I say so is what is the definition of protest not having momentum? I'm interested in what um
I think you have to adjust. You have to adjust because you're coming in
standing
broken,
up to
please.
demand accountability, justice, fair, equitable opportunities from their very government. So that in itself is a hindrance. The second thing is the
You said
condition
Lucas,
environmentally did not provide a very
Mr. Wanto,
suitable avenue
Mr. Wanto, Mr.
or
Wanto.
context for what we call momentum. Protest in itself is not about crowd, it's about achieving tangible results. And that is the very essence of why people gathered yesterday. It's about standing up for legitimate rights, standing up for fair, balanced opportunity. Even if you have one person, one single individual standing up and can achieve that, then we can talk about it. Let's talk about what the protests achieve. They achieve international attention.
We'll talk about that. Mr. Wanto will talk about that, but we wanted to know first whether from the initial state there was any momentum or not.
No, my point is fundamentally, I found it very interesting on the conceptual theory of what momentum is, because the word momentum could be very subjective, and I don't know in context of what what specifically you mean by momentum. If the ideology is momentum is crowd,
Mr.
then we can have that conversation.
Mr. Wanto, Tier Wanto. There was a build-up of more than 90 days for this protest. The organizers went from community to community, county to counties to mobilize people to attend. So, Mr. Saba is asking, based on the rules, the organizing rules, the planners did they achieve that in terms of numbers, even the momentum to really put up the people that they needed? That's why he's trying to ask. It's not subjective because roles were played before the day of the protest.
But the protester did not give you a specific figure that they were going to put on the street. They told you Labyrinth would protest, and the people who
nobody said that.
Okay, let's transition. Let's move on, Mr. Tier Wanto. Let's move on and talk about and beginning with you first. Let's talk about the conduct of protesters and police yesterday. What did you see? Did they both conducted them? Did they conduct themselves well, or were there some irregularities yesterday? Mr. Wanto? Are you muted, Mr. Wanto? Okay. Let's leave you and go to Mr. Oliver Wisa Senior. Mr. Wisa, let's look at the conduct of the protesters and the police. What did you observe? Did they both conduct themselves or not?
Well, on the overall, I would say that the protest itself was peaceful, and the police conduct themselves more professionally than ever before. I saw a police force that was well organized, that was prepared to protect the protesters and also the state. I saw a police force that exercised restraint even in the face of provocation. There were times when the protesters were trying to provoke the police to action. And I saw the police holding back, trying to exercise maturity and also making us to know that it was a a well-grown police force. So the police were professional, and the protesters themselves, to some extent, acted peacefully, except maybe almost at the end when we saw some little tombstone here and there. But on the overall, the police acted professionally, and the protesters also were somehow peaceful. Yes, I can say that.
Okay, so let's hear from Mr. David Koti. Mr. Koti, let's hear from you also.
Thank you. I'd like to follow my good friend and brother from the UAE. He's right. There was a peaceful protest yesterday. I admire the protesters. They didn't try to cause any trouble. They were told to walk in line in a particular role, and they did that. And like you said, the police was more professional, because I heard people insulting, what we call in Liberia, man caught, and all this kind of things. And they even threw stones at the police and hit one of them, but they never retaliated. They could have thrown tear gas or something else, but they didn't do anything. So I think it was peaceful because of the police. What if the police had said, "Why did you stone us? We want to do something. Tear gas you, or put some nice or good hot water on your back"? But they decided not to do that. So I give the credit to the police. They should have.
Okay.
They could have.
Okay. We'll come to Mr. Wantu. But when you talk about the police conducting themselves well, you think that was appropriate on the part of the police to have just deployed men, with long range and dressed fearfully, with all their weapons, and you think that was appropriate? You think that the police conduct itself wasn't a strategy by the police to instill fears in the protesters?
It was more than appropriate, depending on the kind of people you're dealing with. You got people wearing military uniform when they're not in the police, in the military. You got people insulting the government, insulting the president. So the police had to go, sometimes when you do things, you must expect the response in a disproportionate manner. Oh, yes. I remember during the campaign, there was a particular group. Each time they're having their political party meetings, nobody goes there. But when other people are having programs, they go there and throw stones. We know them. So the police saw people in military uniform. They had no business doing that. They heard people causing man cause. They had no business doing that. If you're really serious about protest, just go peacefully and present it, your document. They even said that they wanted the president himself to receive the document. Why? It could be upon his own volition, but to say he must be the one, it means that some people were after something. So that if it were possible for the police to even dress in devil's uniform, yes, to put fear in the devil. So sometimes when you do things, you must expect a response that will be disproportionate. Yes, you throw stones at people, they will throw cement block at you. They were prepared for that. So I don't see anything wrong with the attire of the police. They were prepared for nonsense and foolishness, if possible. Yes, they were prepared for nonsense and foolishness.
Okay, so hold it there. George wants to ask a question.
Mr. Koti, just once or sometimes we watch our language because we got children listening to the radio. So let's be a little bit. So I would like to know from you.
Before you come in, Wantu was on, but then went off. So let me know again. Go back to Mr. Wantu. Mr. Wantu, welcome back. We're talking now about whether the police conducted itself well, and likewise the protesters or not, because we saw police officers dressed, dressed and carrying long range and trying to some said trying to instill fears in the protesters. They conduct themselves well, the police and likewise the protesters. How did you see the both performance yesterday?
Of course, we saw the very peaceful protests. In fact, the protester follow all of the legal proceedings as per our constitution. They demanded the police to provide them clemency, but allowing a protest to go through, the rightful channel. They received it from the Ministry of Justice. Beyond that, they promised every single parent that this will be a peaceful protest. The problem is, systematically, we've had an extreme stereotype to what protest is. Protest is a normal aspect of life. Governance must be built on the fortress of people demanding fair, equitable opportunity. That's the beauty of democracy. You can't disengage from it. But
we are in a sound.
I think Honorable Koti.
Mr. Honorable Koti, please adjust yourself.
Opportunity.
Properly,
they
please.
want to ensure that government. Hello, are you
Okay.
hearing me?
Yes, go
Are you
ahead.
hearing
Yeah, I'm getting.
Yes, go ahead, Miss. Go ahead, Mr. Wanto.
Sure. So secondly, I'll be fair and honest. The police did a fair job for the first time. I'm one of the biggest critics of the police, and I've highlighted numerous instances where the police, to some extent, fall from being a legitimate legal institution to a political, institution driven only by the detriment of pleasing the executive, and that's the reality. But they did well with their professionalism. And what we saw yesterday is an identification that Liberians must embrace the idea of a peaceful day, demanding change. That is the beauty of a fair society. That is the beauty of a democratic state. And I said this as possible. Some of the supporters of this government who have been very dishonest with the reality. When all of Liberians who disagree with the entire structure of governance delivery in Liberia, the entire systematic, recognition of a hardship and economic situation. If they are demanding change and you disagree with them, that's fine. But don't go on social media criticizing them, making it look like Liberia is a paradise. There are extreme challenges in that country, and this is the reality. Whether you support the government or not, you must be fair of the challenges. And so we appreciate and applaud the stand as a civil society group that wants to be able to see better for our country, and they demand a better change. But I'll come back to tell you the president reaction. The president reaction
Okay,
was not protest.
we'll come back to that. We'll got the video. We'll play the video. But let's ask Mr. Oliver Wiese again. Let's go to Mr. Wiese. Oliver Wiese Senior. It's based in the UAE. Did you see that bulk of the protesters were all seditions, or did you see that the protesters were all stand as members?
Well, to be honest with you, I can say bulk of the protesters were seditions. And here's why. From the onset of the protest, we didn't see STEM members, moving around to have this protest. We saw a few people and there was no momentum, there was nothing like that. And then after a few hours, when the seditions joined the protest, then we started seeing a group of people from different places. Now, even when you look at those who were at the forefront of the protests, they were all leadership of the seditions. They were leaders from the CDC. We saw former Representative Akawas Gray on the podium. We saw Safoko. We saw the current chairman of the CDC. We saw. I mean, all of them were just seditions. And so,
in other words, you are saying that the protesters were predominantly seditions.
Yes. Yeah, Shaba. They were predominantly seditions. We didn't see any sustained group.
Okay, let's go there. But Mr. Koti, what did you see yesterday? Did you see more seditions than more stand members?
apart from the Zogos that came from corners who had nothing to do, all of those people were seditions. Look, let me tell you something. I listened to part of the statement from the people.
How did you know that Zogos were in the crowd yesterday?
One of them attested to it. He was interviewed by a journalist from Bourgeois Radio. Who are you? What are you doing here? What's getting you angry? I used to sell my drugs at Ellington. Please call the station, man. Somebody will give it. I want you to play it here on your station. I used to sell my kush, my drug, Ellington and we are time. And there's President Key and stop the whole thing. So I vexed. I would protest. So Zogos were there. There were many there. And if you want to know that Zogos were there from the abusive language, I mean, cussing, any kind of man cussing, everything. Look, Zogos were there, but bulk of them were seditions. You could see from the leadership of the CDC, they were there. But I want to come to this.
Which leadership of the CDC? You only saw Akaras Gray. Which leadership of the CDC was there?
You just heard my friend and brother talking about the chairman of the party was there, Foucault was there. Those are members of the heritage.
Is Foucault in the leadership of the CDC?
As long as he is a lawyer. No, when I was
Okay, let's go there and go to Mr. Wanto. Mr. Wanto trying to identify the protesters. Were they predominantly seditions, or did you see more seditions than that of stand members? Mr. Wanto, I think you are muted. Mr. Wanto. Again, he's on pause, he's muted. Okay, you're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. We are, doing a post-analysis of the July 17 protest right here on Prime FM 105.5. You can share the show. Want to share the show again? Just go on your phone or your laptop and tap Nighttime Heat, and then you share the show so that your friends, relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow the show and share it. We also streaming live on YouTube. Again, just go on YouTube and tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show. You're going to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that anytime the show comes on, you are in the loop. We also streaming live on Prime FM Morovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Morovia 105.5. Mr. Wanto, are you back? Well, it seems Mr. Wanto is muted again. Let's try to look at now the size of the of Mr. Wanto. Are you back?
Yes, I'm so sorry. So I'm working home, so that's why the internet is fluctuating. But I'll be home shortly. So yeah, that's very interesting. I'm concerned on the, I wouldn't say intellect of our discourse, but it looks so retrogressive to me. But the way Kuti the be saying he saw a member of CDC, are they not Liberians? What's the logic of it? They are not Liberians, they don't have the right to protest and demand fair opportunity. So citizens stop being Liberians under this government.
Society. They should not hide behind a civil society. Let them come and say we are the ones. They should not hide behind a civil society. Come and say we are the ones doing the protest. Okay, they are Liberians.
Let me give me a chance. Let me learn, Chief. I didn't ask you. I provided a rhetorical question. I didn't ask you.
Oh,
so
all right.
Very interesting to note here, Sabo, is that this very United Party protested in Liberia in less than 8 months. In fact, they had 3 successful protests under the banner of civil society institution after serving the country for 12 years. So when you bring this kind of analysis in a discourse, it becomes so embarrassing because it doesn't make sense. The protests were being organized by STEM. Stem promoted their protest. They stood up and said, yeah, citizens endorsed the protest through the Youth League. And the endorsement simply means that every Liberian must have the right to demand fair and equal opportunity. That's the reality. That is the beauty of democracy. You cannot disprove that on one logic. And the other thing, the other aspect that are being argued here that make me concerned is the fact that the Unity Party is using a talking point to say some young people were on the street saying, I'm protesting because there's no jobs. That tell you the leverage of challenges in the country. This government argue that they were going to be able to create opportunities for young people.
They can't find a drug man to smoke. They can't find it to sell. That's what it meant. It used to be plenty. They can't find it now. That's what it meant.
There's a civil discourse. You don't need to be triggered to respond to me. Give me the chance. Let me land. We give you. We give you the chance to speak. We will give you the chance to speak and present all of this, terrible analysis. So here's the reality, Sobo. The reality here, Sobo, is that the Unity Party campaign to ensure that they were going to present pragmatic opportunity to combat drugs in the country. If almost 2 years, you are sharing pictures and videos of young people saying that they are campaigning because of drugs, it's because they are campaigning because of lack of fair opportunity for rehabilitation. What is the Unity Party plan for rehabilitation in the country? You are mocking young people and saying the issue of drugs in that country and Zogos is not unique to a specific political party. It's unique to the inherent nature of our country from our civil crisis. It's a long-standing issue, but this is how this government is embracing it. And we might be able I know we'll have a time to talk about the president's response to this, but you see the hypocrisy in the analysis. The analysis is poor. It's poor. Is this the kind of discourse that we'll be having? So is David Koti a representative on the government? If that is so, then this is poor. It's extremely embarrassing.
Okay, let's hold you there, Mr. Wanto. Yes, Dave.
Someone clarify something, please.
Yes, go ahead quickly.
Hello? Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Wanto wants to act smart, but you can make it, my brother. You understood me very well. I did not say that drugs were here and the government has not fought drugs. No, I am saying that the Zogo said, we used to see it, we used to buy it, we used to smoke it, and we can't find it now. It means that the government is fighting. They can't find it like they used to find it before. They used to smoke it in the streets, sell it in the streets, but they can't find it now. So he's vexed. He's vexed. They can't smoke too much like before. And they can't sell it like before. They're vexed. That's what I mean. You understood me, but you're trying to pretend to change it around. My brother, you can't touch this thing here. Thank you.
So just a 30-second response to that, Sobo. This is a government that the entire DEA were being suspended because there was specific information provided by directors' conflict. In fact, one of the directors sent an email to the U.S. State Department complaining that his boss was involved in a cahoot with the just law. There's evidence to it. I'm sure you've read that before. It became a very huge conflict that everyone is aware of. This is maybe we need to remind or Derek Cody about the amount of drugs that have been discovered. It have exacerbated. In fact, the civil society report on the state of human rights in the country spoke plainly about drugs infestation in the country. So again, I don't know how he came into this discourse, but it's very embarrassing because the talking point is just far from the reality. And I'm concerned. I'm very concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, so just 1 minute, please.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, Oliver, go ahead quickly, Mr. Wisa.
Yeah. Mr. Koti was responding to a question that was asked by the hosts whether the protests were predominantly led or covered by the seditions.
Okay.
Now we are not in any way saying that seditions are non-Liberians and so should not protest, but instead we are responding to a question that was asked. I mean, honestly, you could see that the entire protest was dominated by folks from the CDC. This is no secret. This is no secret. And we saw, I mean, people who they refer to as Zogos.
But the thing is, how did you know that they were all seditious? I mean, so far you only identified Carlos Gray, you identified Safoko. The others were in, were all protesters. How did you know that they were all seditious?
So, Saba, when you say Safoko, this is a representative of district number 9, something like that. Yeah, district number 9. He carries.
They were just two in the crowd. Carlos Gray and Carlos Gray and Safoko.
No. I'm saying
who are originally from the CDC.
When you mention Safoko,
how do you know that the bulk of the protesters were seditious?
Yeah, because Safoko represents a whole district. When he moves, the entire district moves. Okay?
So you are not sure of that. You are just assuming, right? It's an assumption.
Even having Wise, those are all influential seditious. When they speak, look, we know the history of the CDC. They move on party mandate. So when you see an Avin Wise on the podium, you expect more than 1,000 seditious around. And
okay,
so
let's expose some of the logic being displayed here. You know, very hilarious. First, there's one that's parading saying that CDC is a party mandate. CDC, when you see Avin Wise, then CDC is a party mandate. But you know, this is the reality. First, every sedition is a Liberian. They have their right. They have their dignity, integrity to demand fair and equal opportunity. That's the basis of it. You can't change that. You can't even argue against it. There's no logic to even argue against it. I found it very concerning. The second fact in it is that the very United Party endorsed a civil society protest. 8 months in the government. I can name them here. You had to bring back our morning protest. In fact, when they had that protest, President Weah allowed them to have a peaceful protest. What did he do? He called on the U.S. Embassy and asked them to conduct an independent research to find out whether the money that's being campaigned against, being protested for, actually occurred. You know, the U.S. Embassy issued a report. I don't know if your panelists here read the report. Independent audit group. And in that report, they stated clear as possible, there's absolutely no evidence that 16 billion were missing. I can share that report with your panel. Don't know. These guys protested in this country. They protested in the country for something that have no evidence. In fact, it was very embarrassing. I don't know if they apologized for protesting. Some of the protesters even called for the step down of President Weah. Then beyond that, we have Save the State protest. It was endorsed by President Bouaka. We have recordings. He endorsed it and said that he's going to work with the protester. The United Party, all of their senior leadership members, in fact, even the ones today in senior leadership role, the Kula Fofana, the Mo Ali, and the rest of the other guys, they stood up and they protested. But this logic is just really, it's embarrassing, it's hypocritical. In my mind, if these are the best guys representing the United Party, then absolutely it's very terrible for intellectual discourse. I'm concerned. I'm concerned on the paradigm of discourse. So yes, the reality is about the reality here is that Liberians protested for fair and equal opportunities. Not CDC, not anyone, but Liberians protested for fair opportunities.
That's really them, Mr. Wanto.
So I see contradiction. Let us face the truth. If you can say, Mr. Wanto, that you saw Unity Party endorse a protest in the past regime, and you claiming that it's true. You have evidence, and today you see CDC executives leading protests. Then you say no, they are Liberian. People trying to say that they are not Liberians. It's a contradiction. Simply say the same thing that you did yesterday is what happening today. Then I will see you as being objective.
No, but you missed my point though. My analysis here was simply let me explain. I think Sobo got my point. My analysis here is first, I said the contradiction here is that the very Unity Party panelists who are supporting the government here saying that CDC endorsed a protest, forget to know that Unity Party endorsed a civil society protest. And I mentioned that civil society protest. The second thing here also is that whether Unity Party endorsed a civil society protest, CDC endorsed a civil society protest, the logic of even having a conversation on a party sentiment basis, all the protesters, what's the argument here? The argument is that all the protesters that stood up yesterday, they were all seditious? Is that it?
Okay, about 1 minute, 1 minute.
Yes, David comes in quickly. Come in quickly, David.
I like the way you put it. You said the Unity Party, especially Bwaka, came out and said, I will work with it. You see, you're contradicting yourself, and you are even backing us. If Bwaka said, I will work with it, he came to the forefront. We are saying, don't hide behind a civil society and pretend you are not part of it. That's the point we're making here. We know you people. You are very belligerent. And when we see anywhere, we know you. Very aggressive. See how they were moving yesterday, as if to say they're going for war. Yeah, work out that road, work out man, this. But we know you. It's not, when you go to protest, that's not what you do. If you have your document, your petition, go peacefully and present it. But to be insulting the president, work out man that road.
Let's move
it. I don't think you are the one who want to talk about insulting a president. When you have Prophet Key. When Prophet Key was a campaign leader on your campaign, insulting president, we have more. I'm sure that's not coming from you. I'm sure that's not coming from you. You see the hypocrisy. You see the hypocrisy here, Sabor. The hypocrisy here is that
Manto cannot dominate the show. We have to come up with our
but David Cody and you, both of you are Unity Partisans. You say one to can dominate the show.
Listen,
you have two perspectives here. You have one. So why you mean one to can dominate?
Okay, let's go with Mr. To and one Mr. One to please. Let's hear from Oliver quickly, so we can go another step.
No, honestly, this show was not organized as a debate between the Unity Party and the CDC. Besides that, I was invited here as a Liberian. And I mean, honestly, anything that I say here, I'm saying it as Oliver Wiese Sr. I'm not a spokesperson of the Unity Party. Neither am I representing the Unity Party on the show. So Tier 1 2 shouldn't make the show to appear like it is about the CDC and the Unity Party. We are responding to a direct question that says whether this protest was dominated by the seditionists. And we are saying
you are Unity Partisan. You want to avoid your party alliance.
Yeah, fine. You are entitled to your opinion. But what I'm saying is that,
are you saying today you are not Unity Partisan?
Gentlemen, let's move on. Let's go to another step, gentlemen. Let me begin with you.
So the guys are denying the party now.
Mr. Wanto, please, we'll come back. We'll come to that.
Any evidence?
Mr. Wanto, you were not changing the topic. You were not changing the topic. You were speak to it.
You both are Unity Partisan. You're not avoid your party. You're scared of lying.
Mr.
Listen here,
Mr. Koti, Mr. Wiese, and Mr. Wanto. Gentlemen, they stand because the entire protest was arranged and organized and I'm sure funded by stand of Molba Modu. The stand really pulled the crowd yesterday from what you saw. Let's play the video quickly and then we answer this question. Did the stand really pull the crowd? Let them play the video.
But Saba, I thought you started already.
Please, Mr. Cody, let's we got another video.
The CDC Youth League here. This is the CDC Youth League here. Welcome. We are approaching the 540 side here.
Huh?
Okay. Let's stop it there. Mr. Wanto, let me begin with you. Did stand really pulled the crowd yesterday? Did you see an accessible number of people, an appreciative number of people yesterday at the protest? Did the stand really pull the crowd?
So, Sabo, with my history of participating in organizing protests, there are systematic objectives to having one. Primarily, you might be able to organize a political protest to gain attention, or maybe national attention on a specific issue, or maybe international attention that will generate some level of solutions, or to some extent create fundamental, attention to create to have a discourse about it. Stan had a purpose. Stan's objective was to create awareness on a specific issue. One, the economic hardship, create accountability, and then ensure that the president is aware that a fashion Liberian have fundamental differences on how governance is being delivered in the country, especially when it comes to hardship and the extreme, challenges that people go through every day. The second aspect, they wanted to create international attention. They wanted the international community to be aware of what specifically was happening in Liberia. Did they achieve their objective? Of course they did. And that's what I said. The idea of crowd is very subjective in my view, because I struggle to understand to what extent you can have a crowd of more than 1 million people. If you don't achieve the attention you want, then that's an issue. Nationally, we could have a conversation that the president's response was poor and extremely embarrassing. The second thing is internationally, they did achieve the attention that they want. In fact, as we speak right now, Al Jazeera posted the entire protest, footage from the protest on their YouTube. Reuters, one of the most profound and well reliable international news that's being followed by almost all of the head of states around the world, posted on their Facebook page that Liberians were protesting against economic hardship. In Qatar, the Peninsula newspaper, which is being followed by the elites in Qatar and also the Gulf region, posted a story. They wrote a story about it. And I could go on and on, including Barron News also, which is one of the most influential news in the U.S., financial expert-driven news in the U.S., did a story about it. Yahoo News did a story about it. So the protest was extremely successful at a maximum scale to gain and generate such an international attention. It's extremely impressive.
Let's read it and hear from Mr. Oliver Wisa Senior. What did you think about the crowd yesterday?
So first, let me say that it is just unfortunate that Mr. Wonder didn't answer the question. The question was, they stand pull the crowd. Well, yeah, and then you play a video, and we saw district number 10, CDC Youth Wing, pulling that crowd. Instead, the brother is telling us about a publicity that was done by Stan. But they did pull the crowd. They did not pull the crowd. The crowd came from the CDC. Like I said earlier on, when you see representatives of districts, you see thousands of people coming after them. And that is how that protest became somehow momentous, almost at the end. But honestly speaking, when you follow the protest, I mean, look at the podium. We didn't see any Stan official apart from Mama Molo, who claimed to be the chairman of Stan. Instead, we saw seditionists leading the protest. That means
so your narrative is that the crowd was pulled, but they emanated from the CDC.
Of course, the CDC.
So again, you are admitting that Molba Molu pulled the crowd, right? But the crowd was from CDC.
Yeah, through the CDC. Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from you, Mr. Dave. Did Molba, the stand of Molba Molu, pull the crowd yesterday?
I told you I don't want to discuss any crowd issue here anymore. I'm sorry about that. I explained to you that the Zogos came from corner to join these people. This is how you saw one or two persons around. But let me say this to you. I heard Mr. Wanto talking about hardship. Was part of the petition presented to the lawmakers. Let me say
we'll talk about the issues. There where we're coming now. So we wanted to answer the question.
Let's go to that now, my brother. The time is going. The crowd, we can't be on the. I didn't see anything.
So admittedly, you agree that Stan pulled the crowd yesterday.
What crowd? I saw Zogos coming from the market grounds, from the corners,
But
joining the people, man.
Are they not Liberians?
They are Liberian, but they're not from Stan. They're not from. Look, my man.
How do you know they are not from Stan? How do you know?
My brother, we saw the red barrels and we listened to comment. Look, my brother, can we go to something else?
So because you saw red barrels, so it mean that the barrels, so it mean that they are not from Stan.
Who are the red barrels? Who are the red barrels that you know here?
So who are they? Where are they from? Where are they from?
Who are the red barrels people?
No, I don't know them. Where are they from? I don't know them.
Those who can cause mind fuck. Those who go and throw stones when people are having their programs. They don't call them. They go there to throw stones when they're having their program. Nobody goes there. Can we discuss the petition?
Okay, let's leave that and go to the aspect of the issues raised yesterday by the protesters. Let's begin with you. One to tier 1 2. Do you think those issues are genuine issues? Do you think they are issues that are existing and need to be addressed by this national government? Stan, let's see if you want to.
Great, Sabo, it's a very, very interesting question. Of course. Just today, a young lady gave birth outside of Redemption Hospital just today, and because there's no available bed in Redemption Hospital. In fact, doctors refuse due to lack of accessible services. This is the reality in Liberia. The reality here is whether you support this government or not, there are extreme hardship. Prices are currently as we speak. The prices in every form of manner. The affordability is a critical issue. Unemployment, especially among young people, is a very critical issue. In Liberia today. These are the issues that we're talking about. Beyond just that, the guys are asking for accountability process. The government provided so many. We had a conversation the last time. I spoke about zero persecuting evidence or zero persecuting justification for all the corruption cases. One of STEM's biggest demand is that the government should create accountability process, especially on high skill cases of corruption. They spoke more about the economic crisis, that the government should create an immediate solution to address the economic hardship in Liberia. So, not absolutely, the protesters did not say Burger should step down. They didn't say, CDC must come back to power. Protesters speak, they highlighted specific issue from a very patriotic perspective. So, it come back to the president's reaction.
Let me ask you, Mr. Wanto, those issues that you just listed that you said the protesters made reference to, are they issues that are unique on this government, or are they some of the perennial issues that all governments face, including the last government of former President Weah that you supported?
The reality is this government campaign on the fundamental pillar of change. But I've never argued that challenges in Liberia is unique to a specific political set. That's an unfair argument. Intellectually, it's extremely terrible.
So
it's not even patriotic. But the reality here is that the government came on the bearer of change. They created policies. We've had conversations specifically on their policies, and we've had conversation on their approach to some of the challenges. What we're seeing here is an unfair approach to the challenges we have in Liberia. One is inherently built on the sentiment of gaining some level of either pictorial diplomacy or in other medium, engaging directly on PR bureaucracy. And this is the reality. And people surrounding the president must be honest with him. The people fooling the president that he's doing better for Liberia, absolutely no. There are challenges. Absolutely.
Okay.
There are extreme challenges in that country that the next protest will not be stand. It will be young people, even members of the Unity Party. They are now starting to murmur gradually. And the honeymoon that President Burger is currently experiencing, it will come out as zenith. You know, maybe in next year, Derek Koti will be the one of those people on this media, arguing for change, because the problem, the situation
let's go there. Let's go there,
urgent.
Mr. Wanto. You spoke. Let's go there. Let's hear from you, Mr. Oliver. We said about the concerns raised by the protesters.
Well, so Wanto's understanding about the hardship is like the United Party to use 17 months to solve all of the problems that were created by the former government in 6 years. See, it is just frustrating how people reason sometimes. Hardship in Liberia, it is not something that just started today. The former government created more harm to the country than we have today. And, you know, kudos to the Unity Party that is trying to solve the mess created by the citizen.
Let me hold you a bit. How did the former government create more harms? How?
So, you realize that you had a lot of unqualified people sent to the NPA as consultants. That was harm to the country. You had people getting on a payroll that didn't pass through PEN, what they called personal action notice. And that was a harm to the country. Now, in Liberia, under George Weah, there was so much scarcity of food, especially rice. And that was harm to the country. The hardship that was created by the George Weah government is what this new leadership is trying to solve. Too many people were suffering in the country. We were also there. There were times where there were no drugs at JFK. Even paracetamol, you couldn't get it. But they were there supporting military hospital there built by George Weah. And so today, somebody is saying that and the hospitals and they have no drugs. In fact, the people that are suffering, it has been like that. We should be praising this government.
Let me ask you. So, are you saying that the concerns raised by the protesters are not genuine concerns?
No, that's not my issue. The concerns raised by the protesters are genuine concerns, but those concerns were never denied also by this government. The government has always said there are challenges and they are working towards those challenges. And so you cannot subject a government that just took over 17 months ago to say it is failing to solve a problem you created over 6 years. It is illogical. You know, you cannot do that.
Let's hold that.
But the very government served for 12 years, and you arguing that someone served for 6 years. You see the hypocrisy again?
No.
You see the hypocrisy again, Sabah?
Sabah, I think it's my turn.
Yes, go ahead.
Wait, man. Look, one thing you got drafted. You and the whole CDP got drafted. You were talking about hardship today. You were talking about mismanagement today. You got drafted. All right. Sabah, hardship was created in this. When I hear these people talking about accountability, I just laugh. This government is making a lot of progress. At least today, people are being suspended and dismissed. It never happened before. Today, nobody is taking paid for mobile money. Today, nobody is getting into, some of these guys came to power with one vice shirt, one khaki trouser, no shoes. By the time they got into government after 6 months, bam, millionaire. Most of them are millionaire today. It is our same money they're using today, throwing out for people to come in the streets. Millionaires today from our coffers. There are people who built houses here when they never had it before, creating more hardship for the people of Liberia. Where you got the money from the business for the 7 homes, condominiums, upstairs and downstairs? Where the money came from? Where you got the money from to buy 1 home on the Raleigh Highway for $250 million, $1,000? You will sit there to talk about accountability and hardship. You got dry face, man. Look, even when he mentioned something about hardship, let me just give some analysis about the United States. The United States has a GDP of $29 trillion, but yet people are sleeping in the streets today in many of the states. They have a budget of $7 trillion per year this year. That's the budget of the United States, $7 trillion. People are still sleeping in the streets.
So are you saying that does that justify people sleeping in the streets too as well? Does that justify
anything? No. No, it doesn't justify it. Like my friend from the UAE mentioned, these things were created by these people, and we are trying to fix it. And let me tell you the game plan here, Saba, if you don't know. These people are playing a game here that will not work. This whole thing about protest is not about Molly himself. No, people are behind it. If you people change,
who are those behind it?
They know themselves. The people who are in court now.
Who are those behind it?
They know themselves. At the appropriate time, we'll call names. Those who are supposed to go to court and go to jail. If you think you would disrupt this process for you not to go to jail and account for what you stole from this country, you lie. It will happen. There are game plans that will not work. The second thing behind it is that what they didn't do that we are doing now, they're trying to sabotage it. It will not work. You did not have.
Okay, let's go there. You made your points already. Let's go to the next step quickly. Because we will have to open the lines. Mr. Tia, let me again begin with you on this one. The protesters had opportunity to present their petition to the House of Representatives, to the legislature. Unfortunately, Mr. Moba Molu, understand, reportedly said that they could not because the speaker is, he described him as a rebel speaker, and so he would not submit the petition. Rather, he wouldn't do that. He was submitted to the president. You think they had that was justified on that part?
First of all, if I'm the lead organizer of that protest, we will have no business going to the House to present our petition. The issue is the president is the head of the executive. He makes decisions that's critical, to governance in our country. Yeah, it's true we have a balance of power, but a bulk of the issues that we have in our country is detriment to presidential decisions. Whether you like it or not, that's the reality. So the president, they are right. The president should be the one to accept that petition, and they have legitimate right to demand fair and balanced opportunities as Liberians from the president. That is their right. Whether you like it or not, that's the best pathway to demand that. But here's the point. The point here is that there's a lot of stereotype of protests. There are people who politicize everything in this country. Look, where I am currently, I see protests in every forms and manners. Students protest, employees protest, residents in Oxford protesting against their city council. That's the beauty of democracy. We're seeing protests around the world. They've led one of the biggest changes around the world. We saw in the US, the Black Lives Matter protests, for instance. We saw the protests when George Floyd was killed. It led to some of the most tremendous change. We saw in Nigeria the SARS protests, that to some extent create, awareness on police brutality in Nigeria. Even in Kenya today, there are young people who are protesting against their legitimate government. That is the beauty of democracy. So create an avenue where they are demanding fair, equitable opportunity and asking that the president should be the one to receive that petition. Of course, there's nothing bad about it. I'll give you an example. In 2015, the Most Radical Student Union, which I was part of, we did an entire cultural protest. The protest done by the Most Radical Student Union, led by then Mohamed Donso, who was the president, demanded that the government reverse a specific policy that was being instituted by the Ministry of Education, which will have changed the timeline in high school admission date. And that protest was extremely successful because protesters went directly to the executive mansion. And in fact, they stood up when President Sirleaf was coming with convoy. They said the president would not pass, she would walk with the protester. They demanded that, and she stood up and she walked with the protester. She spoke with the protester. Check online. I think Mamadi Dakite was the one who recorded that protest. It's online currently. You follow the whole protest. The young people stood up. They explained their demand. In fact, she invited them to an internal consensus meeting with the Minister of Education, and they had a discussion, and it came to adequate concern that was in the both party interest. But President Bokar is being fooled by some executive who politicize everything in that country, and this is the reality. The challenges in Liberia is not unique to a specific political party.
Okay, so let's go with them, Mr. Wanto. Let's go with them. You made your point already. Let's go to Mr. Oliver. Yes, Dave, you welcome.
Just quickly, please. Some protesters.
I think the sound system is having an issue on my part. Let me see.
Just go ahead.
Oh, when I'm on there, you got sound system problem.
Go ahead, Dave.
Who get time for you, Dave?
You will still hear me. What are sound system? No sound system, you will hear me. The question I have for you, Mr. Wanto, why were some protesters wearing masks? I will explain why, and maybe you can come and counter or agree with me. Thank God the president did not go to receive any petition. There was a DI, different intention. Somebody could have shot the president. Look, we know all your plans. Why did some protester wear masks in a group? Why? That was an evil plan. If you really have a good intention, why must it only be the president? After you just mentioned to me that it could have gone to anybody else. Look.
Okay, Mr. You made that point. Let's hear from Oliver quickly. Mr. Wisa?
Yeah, so you see, that's why I say.
Go ahead quickly.
Yeah. To begin with, the protest was a colossal failure. It was a big failure, When the petition of a much publicized protest, which brought together a cross-section of Liberians to petition their lawmakers or their government, at what a cost, for which people mustered the courage to endure the pressure of the rain, failed to be delivered on the basis that Moma Molu said the speaker was a rebel speaker. For me, I pity.
Can you imagine that?
For me, I pity him. Moma Molu, I don't know why he has to behave that way. But again, on that podium, there were two lawmakers, one former, one current. Safoko, on May 13, participated in the election that brought Honorable Kun to becoming the democratically elected Speaker of the House. He stood there, and Molu labeled the man as a rebel speaker and said nothing. In my opinion, there's an inherent ignorance on the part of that lawmaker. And also, I don't know how to even term for that of Molu. Even Gray, who was to be acting as a senior person in the group. Listen, so let me learn on this. That petition was not presented. That means the protest failed. It did not achieve it energetic. They just wear it to the birds and the trees, put it in the bag, and went back home. It is a disgrace.
The protest failed. The protest failed. That's the reality here, though. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate very unfortunate that these two united partisans are determining the outcome of a protest. Two united partisans defining the outcome of protest. It's hilarious. But the reality, the truth here is that the protester would not determine the outcome of success from United Partisans who disagree with the right of protester to protest in the first place. It's a contradiction. It's a contradiction. A extreme contradiction. The protest is currently on Al Jazeera.
We say had the time.
No, he ended already. He said the protest failed. I was speaking. Sure, thank you, Sabot. Thank you for the protection. I know we listening keen and very patient to the both United Partisans here who are defending their party and very much struggling to defend their party. But the truth is about how can me a non-United Partisan take the outcome of a protest from a United Partisan who came here all through just defending their party. It's very hilarious. They agree with the protest field. They agree the protest field, but as we speak right now, the protest is on Al Jazeera. That future generation will remember that young people went on the street to protest against President Bouacar. The protest is on Rita, which is followed by 8 million people around, which is followed by 18 million people on their Facebook page. They are all around the world seeing it. The protest is currently on Peninsula. If President Bouacar goes to Qatar, the elites and the politicians will remind. You see, they are triggered. That's why they're not giving a chance to speak. They are triggered.
It's triggered. This read up quickly, and then we'll come to the response of the president later on. Open the lines. Let me try to read this quickly. Uploading this to read it. Senator Amra Conan writes, that's the senator of Bapolu County. He says, now that the debate about yesterday's protest and crowd SARS is over, I hope we can focus on the important issues affecting our country. The truth quietly watches our self-deception since 1980. It does not protest or make noise. Those who oppose us oppose us often reveal truths that supporters might miss. We lie to protect ourselves, but we usually speak honestly when we disagree. Yesterday may not have been a good day for the protesters, according to regime supporters, but I hope our government hears their complaints. A silent majority didn't feel the need to protest yesterday, maybe because of its leaders, but will protest at the polls in 2029 if they don't see the government making a difference in their lives. They say we can ignore reality, but we cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. Remember, we had stable macroeconomics before the 2023 elections. While we are making steady progress now, times are still tough for families. Okay, that was a post by Bapuru County Senator Amra Conan. Gentlemen, let's try to, I know you want to make comments on that, but let's go first to the president's reaction. Let's get the uploaded video and play quickly. Okay, I hope we got a video. Okay, let's try to play it quickly.
Interestingly, today, somebody sent me somebody who two protesters, one of them, I don't know, said he's protesting because Bouacar can't lie. If they can't lie, we just wait. And the other one was protesting that he's protesting because we're not giving you a chance to sell drugs because I had you. Very good protest. But a country 178 years, our young people with talent, can't keep that as that. It's our job. Make them, prepare them for the world. During the campaign, I went to Ghana. I couldn't understand there was an Indian who was doing business in Nigeria. And we went to visit him.
Okay, gentlemen, I think let's end it at that. Let's end it at that. That's the president reacting briefly to the protest yesterday. Again, 1 2 tier 1 2. Let's ask what to make of that.
Great.
Minutes.
There's a lot of things to unpack. So, but it's just unfortunate that I'm here with these two United Parties, and you gave me a few minutes always, but it's okay. We'll try to unpack it. The truth here is that I don't know who's advising the president, but I think the president's response to the protest is extremely unpatriotic. They did not sound like a leader to me. It's a very unfortunate situation. The president must understand that he's leading Liberians from diverse ways of life, with different perspective, different ideas for change, and they don't have to always be sacrificed. They must be honest with the challenges in Liberia. The president said that he received a poster from one of the protesters saying President Boubacar can lie. It's grammatical construction. The argument, no, the argument is not grammatical construction. So if the protester made a mistake, okay, then that also shows the challenges that you have. That extreme illiteracy is all around our country. That means you must invest into educational opportunities for young people. If the young people having challenges to spell can and can. Then there must be investment in education. But the reality here is that you don't single out a specific, situation from hundreds of Liberians who came out to protest on the street, and you just single out a single situation and make mockery out of it. So the president what are your United Parties in? Let's be rational. No leader should do that. It's wrong, and it's extremely very, very, very. It speaks very low of the president's capacity to understand the demands of the people. The last thing, just 1 second. The last thing here is this. The last thing is the president said that the campaign to be able to provide young people the opportunity. Too much talent in this country. I agree with him. But let's look at the issue that the protesters were demanding. Unemployment is skyrocketing in the country. What is the president's solution to the rising unemployment in the country?
Okay. Let's go there quickly and go to David Cody quickly. Dave, what do you think of the president's reaction?
Yes, Saba, let me come in quickly. Each time you say something, they say talk, bring talk. You talking about mockery today, president making mockery out of people? When your president's mother, Nessa Doe, tried to see him for 1 whole year and could not see him. She tried to see him to get her benefits, legitimate benefits, and could not get it. After she died, then your leader went to Zwedru and said, hey, the cow will be coming tomorrow so we can bury our mother. Your mother? Is that not mockery? You ain't got shit, man. 3 auditors died. You, as the head of the country, went to your church and stood there and said, hey, I heard that they were having boyfriend and girlfriend business. You were talking about mockery? Look, y'all got dry face, man. Y'all got dry face, so you got to stop.
Okay.
Who is the one that can do mockery? 3 people died.
Let's hold you there. And go to Oliver quickly. Mr. Wisa, let's hear from you. We'll have to open it down.
And the president who will be praying and say, those of you who have appetite and have food, who have appetite and don't have food, look, we're talking about making fun out of people here.
Yeah,
I think President
talking about market.
Yeah, President Boubacar was just, he's a human being. If you say Boubacar can't lie, at the same time you say you are protesting against him, it is ludicrous. I mean,
yeah,
they may have to lie, because if you also say, I am protesting simply because they are not allowing me to sell narcotic drugs, does it make sense to the president? He has to lie, of course. But I don't believe that was the executive mansion official response to the entire protest. Just reading something, and he was laughing. I don't see anything wrong with that. For when people say that speaks so low of the president, I think you have to take it back.
Come on, take it back. Take it back.
Yeah,
Take it back.
honestly.
Okay. Let's try to go to the lines quickly. I'm sure there may be some individuals who want to weigh in on what we're talking about tonight. 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. Or better still, 0886 540 987. Again, 0886 540 987. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
let's hear from you. You calling, you're talking to somebody else. I'm okay.
Yeah, man. David Kojo, thank you, man. Look, let me just say something. Let me buttress you small. During the past 6 years, my wife carried my daughter, about 2 years old, to Banyo Clinic. And they said paracetamol, PCM, when I say you were written on paper, they sent it by her to bring it to me so I can go buy. I thought I was someone that big medicine said. I go buy the poster, but a paracetamol. Okay. The same past 6 years, you didn't see people claiming on fence for rice. You didn't see people buying gasoline for $2,500 per gallon. That man who's talking there, I know one day he will come to run in this country. We're listening to you and we follow everything that's happening. Everything that was spoiled from the past 6 years. You think can all be repaired within 1 year, 6 months? Everything was damaged back then. Then tell me, let's go to the protest. If you're telling me you protested because of drugs, then you were selling drugs. You were selling drugs. And then the people stopped you from selling, making your business. And the president in power will vote him to get drugs out of our country. Because our children were being killed by drugs.
Okay, you made your point. You made your point. We have to take another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. How you doing?
I'm
Let me
okay.
say good evening to the panelists there. I'm Joseph Fremont from Broadway this evening. You know, it has a shame and quite unfortunate on the part of one to tier 1 2. Why you want to bypass the reality? You are a young man. Tomorrow you got future ahead of you. Who you love more than Liberia? Yesterday I was at the Capitol. I was not nowhere. The guys started to throw stone. The first thing they did, they hired a policeman from the back of a head. That one took that police officer to hospital. The second one, when they refused to get a petition to Prince to chairman on Clement petition and the rest of the other Obadiah Bani from Bomi, they refused. Before Momo Sarakina with his security, the stone also they hit the face of Momo Sarah's security. That made Momo Sarah was unable to even talk to them. I fled the thing he left. Blood, I have the video in my phone yet now. So tier one, he did not see that. Yeah, he did not see that.
Okay, let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Okay, this is Otelo Dancing.
Okay.
Calling from Upper Kawe. So,
yes, sir.
From my observation, you're not doing justice to the two panelists. You give more time to 1 2 tier 1 2. And secondly, 1 2, you must realize that it's a president, don't insult the president. Very insulting. You don't know. Why do you look? You are educated man. Why you don't take why you don't take jobs? Why you don't take jobs? And you go to school in England? You must stop causing the president. Thank you.
You didn't say how the tea. I don't know. Good evening.
Good evening, Senator.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yes, Shanji, I call from Central Moria.
Let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah, I see my brother want to, stuttering, struggling, trying to talk about somebody President Waka mocking. Is that what you consider the mockery? It's very unfortunate. You have President, we are here. When he broke down his property, built a lot of structure, luxury home, only does that when people want to complain. What he said, he didn't see Rasta is a liar man, calling people liar man. And yesterday, the internet has opened yesterday. Early in the morning, right ahead of CDC party headquarters, those guys are brutalized that lady. She was bleeding on camera. Right at CDC party headquarters, those guys came for slavery. These guys, they are ex-EPS people. I know them very well. These are the same guys that used to be behind president. We are wearing CDC t-shirt and campaign t-shirt. I know them for slavery. I know them. They came at slavery depot yesterday with mask on their face, all things. They even ran at slavery depot there. They started to harass the officer. The officer had not restrained and said they were being serious attention at slavery depot yesterday.
Okay, give me the point. Let's get another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Hello, I'm for showing. If now a President Weah was in power, but now 26 coming, you are making two different misses now. They start dancing. But saying in power, why can't they miss it now? They better miss it. Thank you, man.
Okay. 0778-460-793. Or better still, 0886-540-987. That's the number to call. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better still, 0886-540-987. That's the number to call, and you are live on the nighttime heat. Again, 0778-460-793. Let's take this caller. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Thomas B. Perry calling from Hardware.
Okay.
Yes, my concern has to do with those that wore the mask yesterday. I think it is fair when to in studio they're talking, concerning about the president, the sitting president. You see, it is fair that you, as a protester, coming to protest, you should cover your face, you should cover your entire body, and bring your placard or whatsoever you bring it to present to the president, and the president should come and take it from you, and you can be identified. Nobody know you. You think it is fair? It is not fair to me. You have to identify yourself. You got to show your entire body. Let people know who you are. Who am I going to interact with? So the president should interact with devil, because you're not seeing the president's face. You know who is the president. What is his intention? So it is not fair. So I beg you, we should not bypass what's going on in the country or what happened in the past. You people knew very well that we're going to be out of the Walmart. Why, a CDC government was presenting or giving a passport, a diplomatic passport to notorious.
Okay.
That's the fight.
Okay, let's see the facts. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, so good evening to you and good evening to your many listeners.
Yes, sir.
My name is Charles. I come for Charleston, District 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for the conversation this afternoon. Let me just say this to Wando, I thought you were going to come for the protest yesterday, but in the midst of the poor, I was checking to see if I could find you, but unfortunately, I couldn't see you. You sit down in that place there, you just talk. At the end of the day, you not know what the government is going through to make things to be spreading in the country. The problem your government created for the past 6 good years, the people is trying to put this in place. Then you still get the guts and the audacity to come and start criticizing the government in less than 1 year, 6 months.
So your government was not in power for 12 years?
The people be able to face it in 2 years' time.
I have a question for you. Your president wasn't in power for 12 years?
Taking to getting on course to face things, it takes time to spot it.
Okay. Okay. Let's take another call on the line. You made a point already. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening, Saba. Good evening to your guests and the guy overseas.
Okay.
I'm really surprised. He attended a very good school, Oxford University, but his analysis are not accurate. Let's be frank. Moluba Molu led a protest. Let's look at the name behind the protest, Moluba Molu. That name is associated with lie, criminality, greed, and what have you. On Akawa's greed, he was the chair-on executive. He led talks that brutalized peaceful students at the University of Liberia. You will never call for questioning. These are the kind of people you want us to reduce the presidency to? Somebody. You know the allegation of mobile model led against President Weah? You got to be fair. Tomorrow you want to vie for leadership in this country. History will judge you. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's take another call on the other side, on the line quickly. Good evening. Hello.
Hello, Soba.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
This is Gonga No say. I call from the GMB and JKK Dream for Better Liberia Foundation.
Let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, yesterday actually, Malu and the rest of the guys from the CDC actually demonstrated some level of limitation yesterday, because if you honor the banner skin, which is a civil society group, a civil society group is a democratic instrument that buttress democratic process. So you cannot say you honor skin and then you build like a political institution. Okay, we are expected skin as an institution to be democratically informed and carry on their protest democratically and present their petition to the House of Representatives. Okay, their committee under our democratic structure, their committee in the House, the Committee of Clean and Petition shall receive that, but they fold that little toilet tissue and put it in their pocket and took it back. Who are they asking for 14 days to respond to the so-called petition? Who did they give it to? They took it back. So we're going back to their house, or going to Madu house that he lived into it, that he never even saw a better ball or pepper to build, but he used the criminal means to get money for people and build it. I play they went read the petition.
Okay.
And receive it.
Okay, you made a point. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, 0778. Let's take this call on the line quickly. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you quickly.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to your fellow panelists. This is William Covey, and I joined this conversation from District 3.
Okay.
Well, yeah, let me say thanks to all of you for the zero analysis and most, especially the protest yesterday. So I think let me use the media to appreciate the Liberian people yesterday for making this protest to be a field protest, for them not to listen to recycle politicians. The Liberian people are smart now. Gone are those days that recycle politicians will get political permanent at the expense of the struggling masses. They will not work these days. If you leave from power, look, my friend, you say I recently, Gray spent 12 years as representative. Gray is a millionaire now. Gray can go to Modu. They can put 10,000 together, or even the amount that they need to put together, that they can have a share company, right? Or factory. You can establish a factory, or you establish a company that can create even at 10 employment that company or factory will create. You reduce the unemployment rate in the country. Those guys can come together. My man, bring how much you get, bring it. My man, how much you get, you bring it. You put it together. You see the investment that the government can go outside there and look for. You see that one person money they can go look for. No.
Okay. Let's take another call on the line. We'll be taking the last caller quickly. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. Okay, it seems that this caller is not ready. We'll only take one more call and then wrap it up. We'll go back to our studio guest to respond, and then we'll get their closing comment. Hello. Good evening. Hello. It seems that the caller is off. Okay, let's take the last caller quickly. Good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Saba.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Let me say hello to everybody in studio. This is Jeremiah Fofa from District 2.
Okay.
So, yeah, let me say thanks to all of you. But, yesterday when I hear people saying that the people met their objective for the protest, I believe that the protest did not meet its objective. The protest was a failed protest because nobody received the petition. Look, they said the president should come and receive it. They forget to know that the Constitution says the government of Liberia works the government of Liberia is divided into 3 equal branches and they work coordinatively, right? There are 3 coordinative branches. So if anything that the legislature receives, the president will receive it. Anything the president receives, the legislature will receive it because they work coordinatively. So I don't know why they say the lawmaker will not receive it, only the president. So I think the protest was a failed protest. They only read their petition to the journalists. So we asked the media to address their issue.
Okay.
That's the ultimatum they get our president is for the media, like the media.
Okay. Thank you.
Addressing that.
Thank you. You made your point. You made your point. Let's go to our two guests. Mr. Wanto, Tier Wanto. I think you'll be the last. Let's hear from Mr. Oliver Wisa quickly, and then Dave, and then you Wanto. Reactions, and then your parting comment.
Yes, Sabbath. I'm so excited about the comments coming from the callers. You know, that shows that Liberians are becoming, in fact, not even becoming, Liberians are indeed mature now when it comes to political issues. You know, gone are the days where people would just sit back, use poor people, rise to power, you know, just get rich by themselves and, you know, just dump the people. Yesterday's protest is a testament that Liberians are no longer going to be used by politicians to enrich themselves. One of the caller said something. He said, to whom is the government going to get this petition to respond in 14 days? I mean, logical. Umamolu wants the government to respond in 14 days, but he took the petition with him in a small bag. So how will the government then get this petition and then respond in 14 days? Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense at all. So again, I want to say thank you for the invite. I want to say thank you to our fellow panelists, to my dear brother, Wanto, Mr. Koti, Mr. Sobel, and Mr. Kennedy. Just thank you. Mr. Koti, we have to talk. We have to talk behind the scenes. Thank you and bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Sobel, for this invitation. Mr. Wanto, you have gotten enough beating from the public. I'm not going to beat you. The beating you got from the public, I'm not going to beat you.
Got him beating from public. You see, it's here that you know, people very deceptive.
I'm coming. I will not beat you any further. Let me just say this. You got enough flogging this evening. I can't call it beating, but real flogging. 100%. They beat you. All right. Now, the mockery you were talking about, this president is not going to engage in making new songs every day to joke, make fun. You got a very serious job to do. You're making new songs every day. Number two, this president is not going to give our passport to criminals to make this country look bad. You know, I was trying to talk about Malu, and you said it was not a time you didn't bring it, but let me just say this to you. When Moba Malu, when I heard him on the radio, accusing George Weah for stealing from us. When he goes abroad, he will bring money, take it to his house. In my mind, I said, this man is a political maverick, which means a person within who challenges the status quo. Oh yes, I said, we got a hero. You enjoy your government, but then later on, when I got to know that it was a gossip, where he was talking about the president, they recorded him. Then he said it was a liquor talk. Is this the kind of man you will follow? A man who lied. He was chairman of the party when he lied and said he met with Obama in Ghana. Is that the kind of man that would look? This man is being used by people. Those of you who are supposed to go.
You made your point. Dave, you made a point.
Yeah,
you made a point.
Thank you.
You made a point.
So
let's hear from you.
Wait, are you guys hearing me?
Yes, go ahead.
We are in.
So the interesting thing here is David said the public whipped me, but the reality is here is that the Unity Party will be whipped at the ballot in 2029. That's where the public will whip you. We are ready. you read a very interesting piece from Senator Conan. Very interesting piece. And again, I don't know who's speaking to the
Your way
president.
is
He's not
really not
listening.
here.
He said the silent majority will not go on the street to protest. The silent majority will not call, frequently on most of this, station to express their opinions. But the hardship that is exacerbating at a very terrible pace will be the determining factor for 2029. People will campaign on the deliverable of governance just as they did before in the past. The second thing I also want to be able to lay out here is that we must be honest and disassociate the individual from the ideas and the petitions that are being built up. People protested because they believe that they are creating some sort of awareness on the economic hardship in the country. What we notice here today, Sobo, which is very interesting, is the two United Partisan panelists did not disagree with the economic hardship. They agree that the country is hard. They agree that governance is very difficult, but they are saying, let's get the president more time. So, in fact, they're not disagreeing with the protester, but they are arguing why should the protester demand change from their very government. That's the hypocrisy we are seeing here. Even the quarters who call, even the quarters who call, they are not saying Wonto you are wrong, but we believe that whatever the government is doing, cities will not come back to power. This is not the argument. The
You got
conversation
to
is not
face, man.
about whether cities come into power. This government
Wonto, you
campaign
got
on a
to face.
manifesto. The government campaign on a plan. If you're a United Partisan, tackle your government, ensure that there is sustained change, and that we can be able to have this kind of honest conversation. Forget
Okay.
CDC. So and Sabot, thank you so much again for creating this space. I want to appreciate both panelists and also Josh as well. We believe, I always say when I have the time, whenever I have the time, I always accept to be in these kind of spaces.
Okay.
Intellectual discourse is a hallmark of any democratic country, and I think we must embrace it. But more come with honesty, we not be the difficulty and other United Partisan man
Okay.
who
Thank
can
you.
want
Thank
to
you,
praise
Wonto.
worker.
Thank you. I want to really appreciate. And thank you, Dave Cody. And thank you also, Oliver. We said, senior from the UAE. Thanks to my co-presenter, George Kennedy. George, thank you for the week.
Thank you.
You did extremely well and being here. Moses couldn't be here because he's engaged.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Just
sir,
1 minute,
buddy.
please. Please give your number to send to him. I beg you.
Okay, I'll give it someone. Someone will give it to you.
That would be all friends, but we got to keep talking.
Okay. We have to recognize some of our viewers. Ophelia is George. She says she's been watching from home. Hilton with Jello. Jello been watching from Greenville, San County. David Tueto from New Qatar. He been watching. Amos Y from West Chester. I love Chichi. Didn't say from where. Edward Sumo from Zozo City. And Ernest Johnson from Radio Gagema in Lima County. One of the stations have been relaying us. Mohammed Fofana, they didn't say. Teddy Amos Contaginian from Gardnersville. He's been watching. Julie, they didn't say from where. Tay D. Jila from Borough, Newtown. Wendell Manon Wea, they didn't say from where. Nelson T. Wisa, they didn't say from where. Florence Zina, they didn't say from where. G. Alberto Cabie, they didn't say from where. And the rest of those who've been watching this program. Well, we've come to the end of the weekend edition of the Nighttime Heat. Join us again on behalf of the entire team, my producers, my co-hosts, Moses and Josh. Join us again on behalf of them. So, but Josh is my name. Have a pleasant weekend.